pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, roll, Atlantic. Flight outside FP off.
Yikes. You bet. Okay. We don't need any more of these.
All right, folks, let us know if you can hear us. We've got a special stream for you this evening. Check it out. 2 rockets ready to go on the pad. We've got 2 camera feeds going. One, the official NASA stream from NASA over there, NG-14, happening at Wallops Island, Virginia, a supply mission going up to the International Space Station. And then down at Cape Canaveral, in this corner, GPS III-4. That is the GPS launch that SpaceX is doing. So we've got an Antares rocket going over on the left-hand side of your screen, and we have a Falcon 9 rocket going on the right-hand side of your screen. So if y'all can confirm, it looks like everybody is saying that they can hear me just fine. And that sort of stuff. The NASA spaceflight team is here this evening to cover both of these launches for you. Antares is coming up in just less than 25 minutes. It's almost 20 minutes at this point. And then GPS-3 just under 50 minutes. So we're going to have switching between the countdown clocks in the upper left-hand corner. We're going to be talking a lot about Antares NG-14 first, because that one's just under 22 minutes away. Also on the stream with me this evening, I haven't even said who I am. I'm John Galloway with NASA Spaceflight. Y'all know that. I've made it back up here to Charlotte. Also with me on the stream, operating the camera and doing commentary live from Cape Canaveral, we have Chris Gebhard, Assistant Managing Editor for NASA Spaceflight. Chris, do we have you on comms?
We do indeed. Good evening, Doss. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. I made it back up home, and I'm hoping that me being in the studio me not being in the studio is this cause of the scrubs. So hopefully we get the scrubs tonight. I'm here.
Well, don't take offense, but I hope so too.
Good deal. So Chris will be doing some commentary down there at the Cape. So get your questions ready for him. And then also down at the Cape, we have Thomas Burkhardt. Thomas, do we have you on comms?
We do. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thomas Burkhardt, also here at Cape Canaveral, hoping for a successful launch doubleheader tonight.
All right. So Thomas Burkhardt, editor, live stream host extraordinaire, commentator, subject matter expert, whatever you want to call him. They are both down there at the Cape. And we have some, looks like we're doing Expedition 63 information on NASA TV right now. So they're talking about some other things. There is back to that beautiful footage of the Antares standing by on the pad for NG-14. Also, back here in the studio, we have Michael Baylor. Michael may or may not be on comms right now. Michael, you with us?
I am. How's everybody doing?
All right. I'm doing good. Everybody, let me know if you can hear everybody correctly. Could you hear Chris fine? Could you hear Thomas fine? Could you hear Michael fine? And then I also believe, I'm not sure if we have her on comms right now, but Julia Bergeron is down at the Cape. I do not know if we have her on comms, but we may get a couple of comments on her or from her.
He does.
So
there you are. There you are. How's it going, Julia?
I'm borrowing comms.
I'm confused to what you're talking to, because when you talk, Thomas's name lights up. I assume you've stolen a cell phone.
She's using my mic right now.
So whenever we talk about the recovery operations for GPS-3, we'll pull Julia over here because she is the resident fleet chaser down there at Port Canaveral with NASA Spaceflight. So that is our plan here this evening, y'all. It is a launch doubleheader. NG-14 now less than 20 minutes away. That Antares rocket carrying supplies up to the International Space Station on the left-hand side. And then over at Cape Canaveral, GPS-3, that is a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carrying a GPS mission up to orbit. So y'all know this drill. If you have questions for us, tag us at NASA Spaceflight. I'll be moderating the questions here. I'll pass them on to the teams in the field. Go ahead, Chris.
Doss. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I didn't know if you could hear me. I thought there was a problem. No, we actually have another member of the NASA Spaceflight team here with us. It's not just Thomas, Julia, and myself here. We also have Stephen Marr. Who is a couple cars down waving at us. He is all set up to capture some awesome shots of the Falcon 9 as it heads uphill today. So shout out to Stephen Marr, who is also here with us today.
Excellent. This is the first launch he's covering for NASA Spaceflight. So what do you mean like that? By that, he's with NASA Spaceflight. He's like taking photos, and then we take the photos now, or how does that work, Chris?
He's taken photos of the launch for us as part of our team, and will be a good member of our team going forward too.
Good deal. So y'all give a warm NASA spaceflight welcome to Stephen Marr, who is a new photographer joining the ranks of NASA spaceflight down there at Cape Canaveral. You can find him at spacecoast_Steve, STVE. Actually, is that spelled correctly, or are we missing an E there, Michael? So to confirm that for us.
That is correct.
Okay, that is
I copied and pasted.
in the handle, yeah.
all right, good deal. So we are getting ready for these launches. Like I was saying, ask us some questions, tag us at NASA Spaceflight. That way we can get them into the queue. We can answer some questions. Who wants to start off and tell us a little bit about what's going on over there at Wallops Island this evening? What's going up on this NG-14 mission?
Yeah, does. So this is an exciting mission. This is the 14th Cygnus cargo resupply mission that's contracted to Northrop Grumman from NASA. It's part of the second round of contracts known as CRS-2, Commercial Resupply Services 2 from NASA. This Cygnus is carrying about 3,500 kilograms, roughly 7,800 pounds of various equipment, including crew supplies, computer equipment, station hardware, some stuff for the Zarya module on the Russian side of the space station, as well as a whole host of scientific experiments that are going up on Cygnus, as well as some fresh food and stuff that the crew asked for, because they obviously just can't go to the grocery store and grab an apple when they want a piece of fresh fruit. So those types of things have to go up on the cargo resupply missions. And there's some stuff there for them as well. A particular note, this Cygnus is named after Dr. Kalpana Chawla, who was one of the 7 astronauts aboard the Columbia in February of 2003, a veteran of 2 space flights, 31 days in space, the first Indian woman to reach space, and someone who really dedicated her entire life to the pursuit of making humanity better. And a better name there could not be for this particular mission of Cygnus going up to the station, for a variety of reasons. But I'm going to choose to go with the best one is that Cygnus and this flight will actually serve as a scientific module expansion to the space station for the months that it's berthed there, meaning that some of the experiments they would normally have to install in the science labs like Columbus or Kibo or Destiny on board the station, they're actually going to install and run on Cygnus instead. So a wonderful mission, jam-packed mission for that one. And actually most of the science on that flight is going to wait until after the crew rotations coming up later this month, one on a Soyuz from Russia, and then crew 1 launching from Florida here at the end of October as well. And that just simply has to do with the amount of people that are on board the station, and they need more than 1 U.S. segment crew member to do a lot of these science experiments. And they will soon have 5 come the end of the month. So lots will wait, but a very good mission, very important mission for the station that I see we're about 15 minutes away from.
Yep. You got it. And again, y'all, we are standing by not just one, but for 2 different launches here. Antares NG-14 is just over 15 minutes. You can see the countdown clock in the upper left-hand corner. And it's a little bit confusing because there is another rocket raring to go down there at the Cape. Right there, you can see GPS-3, that Falcon 9 on the pad, ready to carry the mission up there. We're talking a lot about the NG-14 mission first because it is coming up quickly, but we just changed the countdown clock. You can see GPS-3 is just over 40 minutes away for that launch. So if all goes to plan, what does that come down to? Less than 30 minutes between the launches? I think so.
27 minutes between the 2 of them, yes.
27 minutes between the 2 launches. That's cool.
Yes, yes indeed. Now, one thing I will say that we're going to be looking for, or rather waiting to hear on the SpaceX feed, because the Antares rocket needs the Bermuda tracking station for telemetry tracking and everything like that. Sorry, I just realized how loud I was yelling when I took my headphones off. Just a little bit. Sorry to everyone around me. Anyway,
you're trying to get on the stream, Chris. So
yeah. So Antares needs the Bermuda tracking station, and Falcon 9 does not necessarily need it today because Falcon 9 is going into a 55-degree inclination orbit, so it more closely hugs the coastline of the United States. And on previous GPS missions, they've called out acquisition of signal Maryland and acquisition of signal New Hampshire in addition to Bermuda. So we don't think Falcon 9 needs the Bermuda tracking station tonight, which is what deconflicts the 2 from each other. But again, we're going to wait, and we're going to be very interested in hearing that call out if they do call out acquisition of signal Bermuda on the Falcon feed, because that would give us an indication of exactly what the capabilities of the Bermuda tracking station are, and if it could handle two at the same time, if there are enough dishes, et cetera, or if because of the inclination and the trajectory, Maryland and New Hampshire fill that gap. So that's an interesting thing we're going to be waiting for. But I'll let Thomas talk more about the actual GPS mission later.
Yeah, and again, y'all, because we're tracking two launches, the Antares is just over 13 minutes right now. We are going to be sort of focusing on one. Don't despair. We will also tell you all about the GPS-3 mission, GPS-3-4 mission that's coming up. How are we? Am I referring to that correctly? GPS-3, Space Vehicle 4. Anyways.
Yeah, so this is the GPS-3-4 mission. Sometimes you'll see it as GPS-3SV04 for Space Vehicle 4. Basically, the fourth satellite in the series of GPS Block 3.
Gotcha. So we are going to talk a lot about the Antares first, and then we are going to move on and talk about the GPS-3 mission on Falcon 9, because that's the order of operations here. 27 minutes between the launches. So I'm going to run some super chats really quickly. We're able to go out there and get you all this awesome coverage because of the super chats. Moldy Space Industries here says, here's hoping for any launches today. Moldy doesn't need a double header. Moldy just wants any launch of any sort. We appreciate the support there. Philip Whitehouse, also 5 curly L's. Coffee for Steve. There you go. Thank you, Philip, for the support. Future Martian 97 says, let's light these candles. Hey, Future Martian, I will forgive the ground service equipment if we get a double header within 30 minutes of each other tonight. Don't want to jinx it, but let's light these candles. I agree with this. Rough Rider Show says, let's end the scrub virus. Oh, geez. That's why you have to practice some social ground equipment distancing whenever you have these rockets communicating with each other. We appreciate you there.
That was perfect, Ross. Thank you.
I mean, I'm just saying, you gotta follow. Are there masks that we can hand out to ground service equipment? I don't know. Mosh Pit God, appreciate you there. Hopefully we see a launch tonight. Andrin Tongnella, thank you very much. New membership. Welcome to the team. CANP Railroad. First time to hear the full team on the live stream. We're here, CANP. Thank you. Brett Norman, 10 Canadian. Thanks for covering the launches. Fantastic coverage. And then here is one. Dieter McPherson. I'm ready to march on the ground equipment empire with my pitchfork.
Just quickly, Dawson, an important update. The teams were just pulled for the Antares launch, and everyone reported a go status for launch.
All right, good deal. So that is Michael Baylor there reporting we just got a go, no-go poll out at Wallops, and everybody's go for launch. Go ahead, Chris.
And there was a really subtle but nice woo that worked its way down all the press people here when that Antares go for launch happened. There's even everyone here in Florida, even though we will not be able to see it, even though it's heading southeast, everyone cheered a little bit when they passed their go mark for Antares. So we're all rooting for Antares here in Florida, even if we're not in Virginia to see it go.
And we are just over 10 minutes away. Chris, Thomas, you all want me to toss a couple questions in real quick?
Go for it.
All right.
Let's do it.
So do we know, is this the shortest time between two launches? Do we know, has anybody ever launched?
Ever? No.
Yeah.
Falcon 9 and a Japanese H-2A rocket launched within 2 minutes of each other a couple of years ago. Yes.
Gotcha. So not the shortest time between two rockets, but pretty good for us, especially after an entire week of scrubs. I'll allow it, right?
Yes, exactly. I'll allow it. Yes.
Let's see here. Add 2 separate clocks. Yeah, Patrick, I don't know that we're going to have 2 separate clocks up there tonight. We're going to be going back and forth. We don't have this problem very often, but it's a fantastic problem to have that there are just 2 launches that are so close together. Let's see here. Here is a good one. Andy McCracken asks, how does the Antares rocket dock? It doesn't look like it can. So looking up at the top, you can see really big on the screen right now, you see at the top of that Antares rocket, the actual spacecraft is called Cygnus. You can see the name and logo up there. Chris or Thomas, why are we not seeing any docking equipment at the top of the Antares here?
Right, so what you're seeing on top of the rocket is a payload fairing, which actually encapsulates the Cygnus spacecraft. Unlike the other cargo spacecraft from the U.S., Cargo Dragon from SpaceX, which kind of just launches sitting on top of its rocket with no extra protection or anything. Cygnus is launched just like a satellite normally would be, inside a payload fairing, which is jettisoned during launch after you're out of the thicker layers of Earth's atmosphere. So you're not seeing the docking mechanism right now. Once the fairings separate, Northrop Grumman will show some graphics of what the spacecraft is looking like. They have some animations to show the status of the spacecraft, and we'll be showing those. And you'll see what the spacecraft actually looks like. And it does have what's actually a berthing port on the front end of the Cygnus cargo spacecraft. It's actually not a docking port because the Cygnus spacecraft, instead of docking directly to the station, flies close enough to the station that the robotic arm, can reach out, grapple it, and then move it into position and berth it to a berthing port on the ISS. It's a slight difference. The spacecraft does not dock itself; it uses the robotic arm. But that is why you can't see the docking hardware, is because it's inside that payload fairing, which will be jettisoned during launch.
Exactly.
And Cygnus is now the only U.S. crew vehicle which berths and does not dock to the International Space Station with the retirement of Dragon 1.
Until Dream Chaser.
But currently active, yes.
And Ross, really quickly, if you want to take us back to the Cape, I have an update on GPS. They just conducted those pre-propellant loading, not polling, but briefing on the teams on what to do if the countdown and the need to abort. It's a standard procedure. So the GPS launch is on track with propellant now flowing in the Falcon 9.
Yes, the propellant loading timeline for Falcon 9 does start at T-minus 35 minutes, and we are past that mark. So propellant loading has started, and we actually did hear at the press site, we were in the middle of talking about Antares, but we did hear the loud whoosh of the pressurization systems and fuel systems over at Pad 40 come to life, so we can confirm fueling is underway.
Nice. All right, and we are down to, what are we at, 7 minutes here?
Yeah.
What is our T-minus on Antares?
Bring it back, and it's T-minus 7 minutes and 8 seconds.
All right, good deal. So again, y'all standing by two different locations on the left-hand side. That's NG-14 and Antares rocket, a Cygnus resupply spacecraft, like the Swan. That's what it is. Standing by at Wallops Island for a launch in just under 7 minutes. And on the right-hand side, GPS-3 Falcon 9 carrying a GPS set of satellite up to orbit. So first one that's going to go, I'm just going to be super positive here. The first one that's going to go is going to be the Antares. So that is what we are talking about for now. Just 6.5 minutes. Let's grab another question real quick. Let's see here. It's not really a question, more of a comment. If one of the rockets aborts, I'm going to punch a hole through a wall. Raid Steel, NASA Spaceflight, not responsible for damage to your hands. If you punch a hole through a wall, please don't do that. Please find other ways to express your frustration with Scrub.
But also, please wait to see what the cause of the hold is. If it's GSE, we might have a different answer for you, but no, we don't.
Like punch a hose or something. Like find some ground service equipment you could take your frustration on. Maybe like a printer out in a field or something.
You know, if I could figure out how to do this, I would have my Halloween costume be ground unsupport equipment. But that's just my weird sense of humor.
I cannot come up with a way to visually represent that in a Halloween costume.
I haven't been able to either, but still a few days to go.
You'd be like a leaky hose, or you could be a board. Like you could have a board on your shirt, and everything's green except ground service equipment has a red light next to it. You could do that. What a scary costume. We should do that. So we are just over 5 minutes now for the Antares launch. Let's see if we can grab another question here. Let's see. So this launch is one. It's Christian Bradley Hubbs saying this launch is out of Wallops, Virginia, going southeast into the plane of the ISS. How does this differ from ISS launches out of the Cape? Do those go north or south? So first off, Chris or Thomas, is that correct? Is this a launch that's going down to the south out of Wallops, or is this one going north tonight? Do we know?
Antares will be launching to the southeast of Wallops Island today. So it is a southbound trajectory.
So from Wallops, can we launch both northeast and southeast? And then also from the Cape, can we launch both of those places? Or what's the difference between launching from both those places? Keeping in mind we have 4 minutes.
Yeah, really quick, Wallops all the ISS launches from Wallops do launch south. from Mollups Island, and that's just based on the ISS's orbit and Antares performance capabilities. From Florida, ISS launches all fly northeast, if I understand correctly. Chris will correct me if I'm wrong, but he hasn't yet, so I'm going to. Yep, he says I'm right. Okay.
He's shaking his head. He's nodding.
The ISS launches both, Crew Dragon, Boeing Starliner, and Cargo Dragon, all from the Cape here, all launch northeast from Florida. And again, that is merely based on the rocket performance capabilities of all those different launch vehicles and how they align with the ISS's orbital plane as it passes over Florida for launch or passes over Virginia for launch. So yes.
Excellente.
And the reason I'm sorry if you said this, Thomas. I was doing something else too. But the reason we cannot launch southeast from Florida to the space station is because we would overfly the Bahamas, and we can't do that.
Thank you, Chris and Thomas. Hey, I'm going to toss this one in here really quickly. This one is from Bishop Lewis, and we don't do this very often, but this one seems pretty special, saying, could y'all please give a shout out to Dr. Patrick Curtis, a good friend of mine, microbiologist, who has an experiment going up on Antares. So, Dr. Patrick Curtis, congratulations on your I'm going to guess that it's a microbiology experiment. I don't know. Going up on Antares tonight. We don't do that very often because we don't often get people saying they have an experiment flying or knowing somebody that they... Anyways, here we go.
But that is really cool. Congratulations. Yeah. Yes.
It is absolutely. I didn't want to miss that one. In just under 3 minutes here, y'all. Just under 3 minutes before the launch of Antares NG-14. A huge super chat coming in right before the wire. Chris Mayer, thank you for your work. Asked yesterday, but do you think this is the new norm for U.S. launch cadence? Thomas, Chris, what do y'all think about that? Are we liking the, sort of scrub cadence recently, launch cadence? What do y'all think?
Well, definitely not scrub cadence, but yes, very seriously to your question, I think this is something the U.S. desires to get to have enough traffic, to have these launches sort of more routine. What the 45th Space Wing here in Florida has said is that their goal is 1 a week. But no, this like confluence of 3-4 missions from the two centers, all coincidentally within a couple days of each other, is truly just a coincidence. It being that, yeah.
Gotcha. And we're under 2 minutes now, y'all. So 2 minutes. Everybody, please think hydraulic lines that are nice and sealed and not dripping or anything. Think electrical sensors that are all picking up the electrical, whatever currents or voltages or resistances or whatever it is that they're reading, and they're all within family nominal numbers. Bits of concrete that aren't falling off of flame trenches. I don't even care. I just want the launches. I want the ground service equipment to be here for this launch for Antares tonight. 1 minute and 15 seconds there.
So a quick preview of what you'll see when Antares lifts off. The first stage, the liquid propellant stage, will power the initial phase of flight for Antares, and then after that, the stages will separate. There will be a brief coast phase before the solid upper stage ignites. This upper stage for Antares is solid fueled, and then once that does ignite, it will burn to fuel depletion. And at the conclusion of that burn, the Antares upper stage and the Cygnus spacecraft will be in low Earth orbit. There will be another brief coast phase before the Cygnus spacecraft is deployed. But a simple 2-stage rocket for Antares. Of course, payload separation or payload fairing separation right after stage separation. But those are all going to take place in the span of about 11 or 12 minutes. I don't have the exact time in front of me, but a brief ride to orbit. And then hopefully, once that is all said and done, we can turn our focus down to Florida for yet another launch shortly after. But for right now, all eyes on Wallops.
All right. And that brings us under 20 seconds for the launch. Antares ready to go. Haven't heard anything on the countdown net here. There was the 15-second call. Come on, Antares.
We can do this.
Oh,
there's the ignition sequence and liftoff of Antares.
There you go, Antares.
Antares broke the scrub streak. Yes.
Scrub streak.
Look at Antares go from Virginia. Look at that.
Roll programmer in.
So it's clear the tower there just got the call to the pitch and roll program has commenced. That's what we want to see.
So at this point in flight, Antares is doing what is known as open loop guidance. It is literally just its computer system knows the pitch at the particular second the rocket's supposed to be at, and it is gimbaling the engine to that pitch. After first stage shutdown, the guidance will converge, and then the second stage will do closed loop guidance for that very precise orbit insertion maneuver.
We just got the call that the engines are steady and nominal, 100%. I just heard across the countdown net there.
Perfect. And remember, Antares is an odd rocket in the American family. It does not throttle down the engine during max Q.
Everything's still looking good. 1 minute into the flight there was the latest call. The Chris was saying it's just going to go, no throttling there.
They actually strengthened portions of the vehicle on the first stage.
Attitude nominal. Engines at 100.
Antares passing through the area of maximum dynamic pressure.
There we go.
Yep.
And what I was saying there, they actually strengthened portions of the first stage and the interstage and the fairing to accommodate the RD-181 engines not throttling down during max Q on the Antares 230 Plus variant, which is launching tonight. And that actually allows them to take a couple hundred more kilograms of payload up to the International Space Station by not throttling those engines down.
Are nominal.
And attitude nominal, all vehicle systems nominal was the call there.
Coming up on the
net.
2 minute mark.
So about halfway through the burn of the first stage, it's about a 4 minute burn of the first stage, a minute coast, and then a 2 minute roughly firing of that Castor XL, a solid propellant upper stage like Thomas was detailing to you earlier before liftoff. You can see the rocket ascending into the higher altitude now with less oxygen, less air pressure, less air density, and that flame getting weaker, but also expanding out exactly what we would want to see here.
Still got the all nominal call there.
And remember, nobody go anywhere when this is over. There is another launch in less than 30 minutes.
Yes, remember, once Antares is done, we have Falcon 9 to show you too.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. We never have the opportunity to do this, so I'm going to do it. There is a launch out of Wallops Island currently in flight. You can see the trajectory. You can see the back of the rocket there, that little dot that's getting smaller and smaller. And another rocket is standing by at Cape Canaveral, that Falcon 9, that's launching in 20-something minutes. So this is hopefully we get a doubleheader to make up for the week of scrubs we've been dealing with here. But Antares' latest call, all still nominal.
Very good. And what we'll see here... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Thomas. I saw you were getting ready to talk.
I was going to make a brief comment that there's also two other rockets vertical at Cape Canaveral. There's a Delta IV Heavy and a Falcon 9 on 39A as well. There are 4 rockets, 3 of them vertical here in Florida and 1 in flight from Virginia.
And I believe that is animation of the stage separation there, Das.
Yep.
Yes, so what's happening right now, we're in about a minute-long coast. We'll see the interstage and the payload fairings fall away. What the guidance system is now doing is locking onto its guidance solution for the orbit insertion. So we should also hear a call that that guidance has converged. And that's what we want to hear. That's that software that's going to take the Castor XL second stage and let it do that precise orbit insertion for the Cygnus here.
So what you just saw there was the payload fairing separating. Remember when Thomas said the payload fairing was going to come up? Now we've got the exposed Cygnus cargo vehicle up on the top, and that has the berthing attachment up at the top that it actually connects to the space station. That's the hole, it's the doorway that they load the supplies through in order to get it from the cargo vehicle there into the interior of the space station. So
now what I want to focus on really quick there, Das, is the velocity. Look at that velocity in kilometers per second, 4.4 kilometers per second. That will read roughly 7.6, 7.7 at Castor XL shutdown and orbit insertion. So you can see the first stage does more than 50% of the work, hauling it to its intended velocity before the second stage takes over.
just over 5, or coming up on 5 minutes there was the last call, approaching 5 kilometers per second, over 10,000 miles per hour, y'all. You can see the velocity there, like what Chris was pointing out. It is almost 100 miles in altitude already.
I'm getting some reports from friends and family up in the northeast United States that the launch was visible clear as day from as far north as Pennsylvania. I know there's a bunch of people up on the East Coast looking to see if they can catch a glimpse of Antares today. Hope to see some cool imagery from that because that's always exciting to see.
Yeah. Now watch that perigee number there. That's negative 4,000 right now. Watch that perigee, because that perigee will rapidly continue to rise, and that's what we want, pulling the lowest part of the orbit out from underneath the ground of Earth right now, and then up above the atmosphere. So we want that number to be positive. But yes, so far it looks like everything is on track, and a good burn from the Castor XL upper stage. You can see the orbital inclination also rising there as the rocket intends to meet its orbital inclination, perigee, and apogee targets all at the exact same moment.
And quite a few people reporting in chat, visible from Chesterfield, South Carolina, visible from New Hampshire. Let's see if I can catch a couple others here. As far north as Pennsylvania, we had visible from York, Pennsylvania. There was that one in there. So if you were able to see it from where you were, posted Washington D.C. is seeing it as well. Long Island, New York.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Huge portions of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic were expected to be able to see this if the skies were clear. Truly.
And we've just
all right. So.
Event.
Okay, so we have the 20-minute vent on the Falcon 9 is happening, but here comes orbit insertion. Watch the apogee perigee numbers at burnout. Oh, and we went split screen, so
yep,
I can't read.
2 burnout.
No, I know. I can't read.
253 by 182.
There we go. 253 by whatever Michael said. There we go.
It looks good to me.
Yes, that is a good orbit insertion in the acceptable range for the Antares rocket to deliver Cygnus into. So now it is spacecraft separation on your left, and Falcon 9 venting, telling us it's nice and happy and about 19 minutes away from launch on your right. It's a night here, isn't it?
Yeah, geez, Chris, I heard you say it was the big T-minus 20-minute vent, and
yes.
We got the one on one side, and then we got the vent on the other side. So I apologize. I realized that it made the numbers really small for you because you're watching on your phone.
Yes, well, and I didn't realize. I mean, it made total sense what you did and what I was telling you.
I thought you wanted to show the vent.
No, I did, and then you did exactly what I was hoping you would do, and then I was like, oh right, I can't read the telemetry anymore.
It's all good. We got your back. We can read it here just fine. So,
indeed, but Antares is safely in orbit. Cygnus is in orbit. Again, we're waiting for spacecraft separation.
Yep.
Here, but Antares is safely in orbit with Cygnus, which means Antares broke the scrub streak.
Broke the scrub streak. Yes. Way to go, Antares.
Yes, and now maybe Falcon. Now maybe our brand new Falcon 9 on Pad 40, which Thomas will talk a lot about once we have successful spacecraft separation on Cygnus. But hopefully we get a Falcon 9 as well in. I've lost track. 17 minutes. There we go.
There you
or
go.
Or what? 20. Yeah, I had it right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So me doing math on the fly is always
17 minutes, 50 seconds.
Yeah, we just broke T-minus 18, so we're counting down towards GPS.
Gotcha. So as we wait for Cygnus to separate from the Castor XL, which just happened on schedule when I said, thank you, Northrop Grumman.
And we just got spacecraft separation there, Chris. That was the visualization on the screen with the spacecraft coasting away from the upper stage, and some claps from Mission Control. I'll allow it. I'll allow the clapping from Mission Control.
Clapping allowed. So the SS Kalpana is on its way to the International Space Station with roughly 3,700 kilograms of supplies for the 3-person station crew and the 4 people who will join them at the end of the month here on the Crew 1 mission. And as that was happening, on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see Falcon still venting on your right-hand side of the screen at the 17-minute, at the roughly 16-minute, 50-second mark right now. Thank you for switching the clock, Michael. Whoa. Yes, it does that sometimes. It's fine. Yes.
Right. So anyway, somebody cut that camera.
That's happened before.
Yes, it's fine. And Cygnus is fine. No,
the Kerbal Kraken strikes in real life.
Yeah, the Kraken strike on their visualization. Now, there are still important things going on with Cygnus. Do we know how long it is before the solar arrays deploy?
roughly, it can take upwards to 30 minutes to get
Okay.
confirmation of solar array deployment. Yes.
Gotcha. So we'll keep listening in and keeping tabs on that, waiting for that successful call of solar array deployment as the Cygnus spacecraft makes its way to the International Space Station. But we've popped back over full stream on the live video from Cape Canaveral. This is the actual NASA spaceflight cam. Thomas Burkhardt and Chris Gebhardt and Julia Bergeron out there at the Cape today. They're on the ITL Causeway, and Stephen. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm going to have to update my list here. And Stephen Marr as well. 4 different people out there at the ITL Causeway standing by for this next launch that's happening in just over 15 minutes, we hope.
And just to be clear, everyone, I apologize for the error. I admit I just copied and pasted stuff from our Starlink stream. It is pad 40, not 39A. I just updated our graphic. Sorry about that.
All right, folks, so don't go anywhere. And we know we just had spacecraft separation with Antares and Cygnus, but wait, there's more. Here from Florida, Pad 40, Falcon 9 from SpaceX with the GPS-3 SV-04 satellite for the United States Space Force. We're just about 15 minutes away from scheduled liftoff. That is at the opening of a 15-minute window, but since fueling has started, there will be no recycle opportunity as far as we know. If we have a hole today, that would be a scrub, but right now, all systems proceeding normally. The weather here at the Cape is cooperating, and there are no technical issues being worked that we are aware of. Fueling proceeding nominally. Today, there will be a brand new Falcon 9 first stage, Core 62, on its debut mission. After launch, the stage 1 will power the initial ascent and then proceed for a propulsive landing attempt on Just Read the Instructions, one of SpaceX's autonomous spaceport drone ships stationed downrange to the northeast of Cape Canaveral, Florida, in the Atlantic Ocean. And then that will occur after stage separation. The second stage will continue with the GPS-3 satellite on board onto orbit. Shortly after stage separation, the 2 payload fairing halves will separate, and they will also undergo recovery attempts as long as all technical and weather items are go for that. SpaceX's pair of fairing recovery vessels, Go Mischief and Go Mistree, are stationed downrange, just slightly farther downrange than the drone ship is, to attempt fairing recovery. So that will take place about 45 minutes after launch. The second stage and the GPS-3 satellite will reach an initial parking orbit of just under 10 minutes after launch, and then they will undergo a coast phase for about 55 minutes. Over an hour after liftoff, there will be a brief 45-second long second burn of the second stage to put GPS into its proper transfer orbit, and then deploy the GPS-3 satellites about 25 minutes after that. Our live camera down here at Florida will, of course, track the initial launch as long as we can. We will also have official camera feeds from SpaceX starting very, very soon to offer some extra camera views, and we'll show you, of course, whatever looks coolest at any time. Yeah, that is a brief overview of the SpaceX Falcon 9 mission here tonight. Again, lots of scrubs on the Space Coast the last few days, but this mission is finally on its first real launch attempt, and we're hoping that it goes tonight. So, Chad, if you have any questions about this mission, let's talk about SpaceX and GPS.
And really quick, just to add to that, there are no technical and no weather issues that would prevent the Falcon 9 from launching on time tonight.
Alrighty. What was our last weather call there, Chris? What was our weather go?
Well, it is go. It's completely green. So 100% at this point. Yes. Yes.
Good. I guess once we get down to T minus 12 minutes, we can just say what the weather is. It looks nice.
Yes. It is. It's actually quite pleasant. Yes. We do have clouds. There are clouds, yes. Okay. So we'll lose it about, it's thick, it's not thick clouds, but it's
some clouds.
100% coverage, so we'll lose it. And some clouds, yeah.
All right. So it'll punch into the clouds out there. And I'm monitoring all these different things here. I'm listening to the SpaceX mission control feed. I'm still listening in on Antares. And then we have that official SpaceX stream. You saw I was just testing out our side-by-side. You can see that SpaceX official feed on one side and the NASA spaceflight camera, which is out there at the ITL Causeway. ITL Causeway is what, 4 miles away? How far away? 3 miles away. Okay, so our camera there is about 3 miles away. SpaceX cheats. They actually get to mount a tower camera like right there.
Look at that drone ship.
Yep. Which drone ship are they going for the landing on tonight?
Tonight, they're going to just read the instructions, although both drone ships are actually sitting out there not too far from one another in the Atlantic Ocean because of the other Falcon 9 mission that is preparing to launch here from the Space Coast. The Starlink mission over from Pad 39A, which we now understand based on some marine hazard notices will launch no earlier than Monday morning. But that mission will utilize, of course, I Still Love You, the other drone ship, and the two recovery zones are fairly close to one another. So that will take place later, but this mission will use a landing on Just Read the Instructions.
And I think just to piggyback on the Starlink part of that, it's not going tomorrow. So don't take Thomas's hedge of we now understand as, oh, it might not. No, it's Monday. Like, it's Monday. It's not happening tomorrow because we have gotten no indication from SpaceX that we even have access to Kennedy Space Center tomorrow. So it's not happening tomorrow.
Coming up on
And
10 minutes.
And we should know there's a huge weather system that's moving into Florida this evening, and it's going to bring torrential rains, heavy, persistent cloud cover, and rain across the peninsula both tomorrow and on Sunday. So the weather odds were not great to begin with before you even factor in what that system is going to do out in the Atlantic and everything, because there's a frontal system sort of draped over the entire area.
Yeah, the fairing catcher boats are out there.
And yeah, just to kind of continue piggybacking on what Chris said, we do know that the Starlink mission was scrubbed. Yesterday. Was that yesterday? Time is 2 days ago. Over the Space Coast, time is a myth at this point. But yeah, the Starlink launch ship was scrubbed due to a ground support equipment issue, like many launches in the last few days. We do not believe that's why they had to delay all the way to Monday. Like Chris said, a huge weather system is coming in. That was likely the major factor into such a long delay. We would hope that there is more than enough time to resolve that ground issue and give another attempt. For this GPS mission, there have not been any scrubs or anything recently. This is the first launch attempt for this mission that's at least gotten to fueling. The dates moved around a little bit, but this is the actual first launch attempt, and no technical issues have come up in this launch campaign, and right now weather is cooperating, so hopefully a smooth launch campaign to launch tonight. And that liftoff should be just under 9 minutes away now. Right now, propellant loading is continuing into both the lower and upper stages on Falcon 9. At T-minus 7 minutes, a process known as engine chill down will start, and that will allow just a little bit of supercooled liquid oxygen into the plumbing of the 9 Merlin 1D engines on the Falcon 9 first stage, which will help cool down the engine components just a little bit, so that when the full flow of cold kerosene and oxygen go into the engine is not thermally shocked by the drastic temperature changes and cause any damage. So that is a pre-launch process that will begin in just under a minute now. The countdown proceeding smoothly. After that point, the next countdown milestone will be at T-minus 1 minute when Falcon 9's internal computers take over control of the countdown and begin startup. And again, that is 1 minute right before launch, and then just 3 seconds before liftoff, the 9 Merlin 1D engines will be commanded to start and ignite. And then at T-minus 0, we will hopefully see Falcon 9 lift off from Pad 40 and begin her ride to orbit.
All right, and we are frantically running through everything. Y'all, there is a ton of super chats that have come in. There are an absolute ton of super chats. I will get all caught up on those whenever we get this launch going here. We'll get caught up. Do not fret. I see a queue that probably has 20 or 30 super chats in it. I will not forget those. Do not worry. And then also a lot of great questions. Let's see here. Just really quickly, let's do this one. NASA Spaceflight, will the SpaceX launch be seen on the East Coast? I live near Miami. Which direction should I look? So do we think they'd be able to see this from Miami tonight?
Depends on cloud cover from Miami. This is heading northeast out of Kennedy. Miami, maybe, but cloud cover is going to really be dependent on that. If you are on the eastern seaboard of the United States, however, like the Carolinas, which just got to see Antares, like Virginia, which just got to see Antares, you have a really good shot of seeing the Falcon 9 as well, and that second stage as it heads to orbit. So yes, all of you who just ran out in the Carolinas and looked north, now look south. And all of you who are north of Wallops and look south, look south again. Yes, because you might be able to see this.
And we just got a call out on the countdown that Falcon 9 engine chill has started.
Good, good.
Excellent. And final check on the broadcast. We're nominal enough for the video feed. I'll put it that way.
Within nominal constraints, yes.
Yeah.
I don't
Within
know what
parameters.
that means, but there's no GSE involved, so we're good.
It means that if the light goes red, we're just going to turn off the light and keep going. That's what that means. From a broadcast perspective. And so again, y'all, approaching 5 minutes for the second launch of the evening. Hopefully, we just saw the Antares take off carrying supplies up to the International Space Station on NG-14, that Cygnus supply craft, successfully in orbit, standing by for confirmation that it had solar array deployment. And in just about 5 minutes, a second launch of the evening happening on the East Coast of the United States, getting caught up after a week of scrubs, all sorts of missions getting delayed for various reasons, all seemingly to do with things that are on the ground. Ground support equipment was not kind to us, but we've broken the streak with the Antares launch there. Hopefully, we get the doubleheader here with GPS III-4 with SpaceX. Sort of batting cleanup almost, you could say, although second in the batting order isn't really cleanup. It'd be a fourth, but whatever. Anyways. I'm putting tape over the check engine light.
Go sports.
Go sports. Exactly.
I was with you on the metaphor, Das. I got you.
I appreciate you, Thomas. Thank you. I know some people out there probably were like, cricket? Like, don't you bat in cricket? Is that a thing?
Well, now we need to get Chris Bergen on here. He knows more about that than the rest of us.
You could comment on the cricket bat or however that works. So now well under 5 minutes here. Camera we've got here, that is the NASA spaceflight camera situated out at the ITL Causeway. This camera is about 3 miles away from the pad with the NASA spaceflight team out there providing coverage. Chris Gebhardt, Thomas Berghardt, Julia Bergeron, and Stephen Marr, the 4 NASA spaceflight folks out there covering for us this evening. All sorts of different ways. We've got people who write. We've got live video, we've got recorded video, and we're going to have photographs as well. So we're covering it just about every way that you can cover it, unless we want to have a sketch artist draw a sketch of the rocket taking off. But do we have anybody who could do that? I can't do that.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Artist? You know, like Anyways, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Here we go.
And once we get farther along in the countdown here, we will switch to our ambient microphone here so you can hear the raw sounds of Falcon 9 as it lifts off, which means our speaking will be on a slight delay, so we'll switch to that kind of at the last second. But don't worry, you will not only see Falcon 9 lift off today, but hear her roar as she rolls off the pad. And then we will continue to provide commentary as the launch progresses.
All righty. And here at T-minus 3 minutes, let's go ahead and make that switch over, Thomas. So we are going to switch y'all to ambient. Stand by till I confirm. All right, so y'all should be on ambient now. Just don't unmute your mics, and we'll listen to your camera microphone now. I got crickets. I can hear crickets, which means we're on the correct microphone. That was just the call stage 1 LOX load close out over the official net there.
If all goes to plan, this will actually be the 21st launch out of the Cape and Kennedy this year, with many more to go before the year is out. I mean, at least 3 more in October, or 2 more in October that we know of from SpaceX, and then like 3 in November and a couple in December. So yeah, it's still a very busy manifest, and that does not include the Delta IV or the remaining Atlas V this year, and whether or not Starliner will be able to join that in December as well. right, so I see we're coming up on a minute and a half. There's our... That is our vent close to the 2-minute mark, which we like to see from the Falcon 9. Continues to tell us that things are okay.
And Chris, final check, cameras on manual focus. We're all ready to go for the tracking.
We are indeed.
There was the call. Falcon 9's in startup now.
All right, awesome. Sorry. I'm just getting the camera completely prepared. Sorry, guys.
Mission director just called go for launch.
Good.
And the T-minus 30-second call over the net we just got. So we'll go ahead and remove our own countdown clock.
That's on a big delay. Our own countdown clock should be 2 seconds accurate.
Gotcha.
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And on the official net,
No.
we just got an abort. We just heard on the official net that they have an abort of the Falcon 9
No.
rocket. SpaceX not getting the second launch this evening. Oh no.
All right, so
Okay.
that is also so that is also there's only a 15-minute window, so no time to recycle, so that
Discord, Chris, please.
Yep, and move back to real-time comms on Discord. We've got you on real-time comms now. Go ahead, unmute your mic.
Go ahead, Chris.
There you go. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Folks, but we have just had an abort here in the final seconds of the countdown. The GPS mission was not immune to the scrubs, which have plagued so many of the launch campaigns over on the East Coast here. Antares escaped successfully, but the other 3 are still here on the ground. 2 Falcons and a Delta.
And I just wanted to quickly add, we definitely saw that T-tab, that's the ignition of the Falcon 9 engines. I definitely saw a bright green flash on Chris G's camera. So that looked like an abort at engine startup, if I had to guess. It doesn't mean the engines were the problem, but we definitely saw that happen just around T-0. And on DOS's feed he's put up there on official SpaceX stream, you can see they have recycled the countdown clock to T-minus 15 minutes, but they only have a 15-minute window today. So this is going to be a scrub, I do believe, but we'll wait official confirmation.
Yes, as far as I know, the recycle point is beyond where they can recycle at this point. We'll stay tuned to be 100% sure, but we are expecting a scrub. Let's stay tuned for just a couple minutes here, folks, to see what exactly is going on. Obviously, we also want to get an idea of what would have caused the scrub. We'll hopefully get to that sooner rather than later, but stay tuned.
Thomas, see Discord chat, please. But yeah, as I said, I'm nearly positive this is a scrub. I'm just waiting to hear SpaceX officially confirm it. But the launch window they told us is 15 minutes. So if that's the case, this is definitely a scrub.
Chris or Thomas, could one of y'all center our camera real quick? There we go.
There we go.
Thank you. I wanted to leave it on this one, but the camera was slightly off center, and I'm like,
Sorry, I got you.
We appreciate it. And it sounds like on the official SpaceX feed, Innsbrucker just officially calling it a scrub. Official word from the official feed that it is a scrub-a-lub-a-dub-dub for the Falcon 9 out there tonight. GPS 3-4 will not be going to space today.
And they just gave a call out on, sorry, Thomas, they just gave a call out on the SpaceX countdown net. They confirmed the scrub like Gus said, but they also said stand by for instructions on the recycle. Presumably that means for if it's going to be a tomorrow or the day after. They have not determined when the next launch attempt will be yet.
As we mentioned earlier in the stream, there is a huge weather system approaching Florida. The forecast for this launch did have a backup opportunity tomorrow with only a 20% chance of acceptable weather. So if I were a speculative man, I would guess that this launch will not try tomorrow. They will probably wait, just like the Starlink mission is, until early next week. But again, we'll wait for SpaceX to announce when exactly they are going to try this mission again. But for now, here at Cape Canaveral, we are going to begin packing up our equipment because we are going to get shooed out of here after the scrub. But yeah, if you're just joining us, we had one of the doubleheader launches go off successfully, but today's Falcon 9 will remain grounded due to a technical issue near the very end of the countdown. We don't know exactly what that issue was. We will report that as soon as we do. But Falcon 9 and GPS is scrubbed for the evening. All right, so Das and Michael in the studio, you guys ready to about wrap it up?
We absolutely are. How much longer do y'all have for video feed there?
We're going to start packing up right now.
You're going to start packing up right now. Okay. All right. So y'all are clear to pack up. Again, folks, out there on the ITL Causeway for NASA spaceflight, you're just hearing the voice of Thomas Burghardt, one of our live stream commentators, and out there in the field tonight. Also, we had Chris Gebhardt out there doing some Q&A, running some cameras for us. Chris Gebhardt is the assistant managing editor for NASA Spaceflight. We also didn't hear from her, I think, on comms, but Julia Bergeron was out there, one of our resident fleet chasers and photographers. And also new to the NASA Spaceflight team, we had Stephen Marr out there this evening, hoping to catch some shots of the Falcon 9, but it was not to be this evening. We will wait for official word from SpaceX on exactly what happened, but SpaceX has officially said on their webcast that this is a scrub of that launch tonight. So, Thomas, you are clear to shut that down. I'd like to read out some super chats, but I don't have any video feed because SpaceX is shutting down their stream as well. Let's see. Let me do this. Is it y'all, Thomas? Just give me as much time as you can until somebody shoos you away, and I'm going to read some super chats until y'all physically have to turn off the camera. Can we do that?
Yeah, go ahead, real quick.
All right, real quick. Curtis Thompson, thank you so much for the support. I do see that's a question. I will see if I can come back to that. Its missions contain a lot of things for the astronauts in the upcoming launch. I appreciate that. Oh, we'll come back to the question. I got a speed run of these. Harry Young, here's hoping to no further gallows humor with launches is required for this foreseeable future. Harry, I think your super chat came in before the launch scrubbed here. A lot of these are actually double the launches. It wasn't going to happen, VLEX. We just didn't have it in the stars tonight. I'm a Jen saying hello to my parents, Diana and Dale, who are watching from Marysville, Washington. Hey, Diana and Dale, how are you doing? Thanks for watching the stream. I'm a Jen. Thank you for the support. VLEX says double the super chats. Nice. We'll take it. VLEX, thank you. William Toll, welcome to the NASA Spaceflight crew. New membership there. Also, Ryan Michelson. We've got Dougal tossed in $6.99 Canadian. Let's not only cross our fingers, but our eyes for the doubleheader. Oh, no, this is rough reading the super chats that came in before the doubleheader actually scrubbed. Yeah, the official SpaceX feed is offline now. Stephen Churchill for the GUSE Halloween costume. Nice. Bram Nauta said, I thought GSE standard for ground scrub equipment. Again, we don't know why that SpaceX launch scrubbed. We do not know why it aborted. We will wait for SpaceX to tell us officially what happened. Guy Schilling, thank you for the $10. Henrique Oliveira, looks like trajectory seems to go over South America. Were you able to see it from Brazil? I can tell you, Enrique, you're not going to see it from Brazil tonight. Rocket's still on the pad, not going anywhere. Appreciate the support there. Christian Bradley Hubs, nutrition facts for the live stream. 200 daily valid of rocket launches. Delicious. We'll have to take our rocket vitamins and wait to watch a double or watch a launch another day there, Bradley. Christian Bradley Hubs, thank you very much. That launch was fun. Let's do it again. Moldy Space, oh, I wish. Joseph Angeline, thank you for the support. Moldy Space Industry says Thomas Fan Club. Thomas shooing away the people trying to turn off our camera. Appreciate you, Moldy Space. Another Thomas Fan Club there from Future Martian. We've got Kimmy said, love the stream, y'all. Great work. We've got Tim K, $10. I saw the Antares rocket from North Carolina. Coolest thing ever. Nice, Tim K. Thank you for the support there. God says, yes, I like rockets too, but how do you feel about ground support equipment? We appreciate the support there. Sonoy, I think is the name there. Enable says, go sports. We appreciate you, Enables. Another 1 pound from God. And then Tay GT says, you have an east-facing fourth floor hotel room in Tampa tonight. So close, but it wasn't to be. We didn't get that segment launch from the Cape. Thomas, are the mosquitoes or security personnel physically carrying the camera away yet?
Yeah, keep going, Dust.
But that is our entire list of super chats. I did say that those were going to the queue. I did not want to miss out on that. I know we are able to do this launch coverage, all the different ways that we do launch coverage. We're able to do it because y'all keep showing up. You like the tweets, you ask cool questions in chat. You just show up, you like and subscribe, the little thumbs up button and all the different things you can do. But the super chats there, definitely wanted to make sure I got through reading those off. So really, last final recap here tonight, we saw that launch of the Cygnus supply mission, which is NG-14, to carrying supplies up the International Space Station aboard that Northrop Grumman Antares rocket. That was a successful launch that went up already this evening. We were hoping to have a doubleheader, but unfortunately, it's T+, and I don't see a clean launch pad like right now. I still see a Falcon 9 rocket on that launch pad. Falcon 9 carrying GPS SV4 officially scrubbed for the evening. Still, have we gotten any details on exactly why the scrub occurred, or have we not heard that yet, Studio?
I have not seen anything. If anybody else has, let me know. But again, we did it aborted at T-2 seconds, which is right when the engine startup sequence begins. So something, the abort was called around when the engine started up, but we don't know if the engines would have caused the abort.
Right. So we will stand by for a official word from SpaceX. Probably be a little
just real quick, Michael. A question. I don't know if you know this because I don't know this either. If the T-tab releases but the engines don't start, how long does it take them to replace the T-tab?
Good question. And they have the pad supplies the T-tab for all of the 3 engines. And the 3 engines, I don't know if they have, I never thought about that before. I don't know if the engines that are not used for the in-flight ignition due to the recovery process are also able to be connected to the pad to have their T-tab filled, or if they have to have technicians actually go out there and refill the T-tab in these 3 engines that are used for the landing and entry burns. But the remaining 6 engines get their T-tab from the pad. It would be a matter of how much supply the T-tab pad has to those engines.
And excellent. And we have to wrap it up. People are beginning to line up.
All righty, good
to
deal.
caravan out. So we're going to have to call it on our end. Yeah.
Good deal. So Chris, Thomas, Julia, and Steven out there at the Cape, thank you all so much for being out there, bringing us the live stream this evening. You know we'll be back whenever we get a second chance, but that is going to be the NASA spaceflight team signing off. Unfortunately, did not get that doubleheader tonight. Did get that launch of the Antares NG-14. Northrop Grumman putting a rocket in orbit, keeping the United States on the board there for orbital launches. But SpaceX will be standing by to get an official word from them on what's happening. I'm John Galloway with NASA Spaceflight. Back in the studio this evening, we had Michael Baylor supporting the stream for all the folks out there in the field who we already named. But we are going to go ahead and sign off now. Chris and team, y'all are clear to go ahead and pack up and caravan on out. Y'all, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Chamber pressure looks good. Following up. Roger, roll, Atlantic. Flight downside of speed off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.